My name is Frank Turner. I am a singer and a songwriter and a performing live artist.
How important is Music Venues Trust to you?
I do a lot of stuff with Music Venue Trust. Well, I do what I can. And I think that what they do is vital. I think that it's a pressing issue for anybody who works in the live music industry and anyone who's interested in culture more broadly. So anything I can do with the small platform I have in life to contribute is no skin off my nose.
And how are you hoping to help today?
So I'm here today at Music Venues Day. I'm doing a panel discussion. We are talking about safety at gigs. Over the last year and a bit, I've done quite a lot of work with a group called Safe Gigs for Women. They got in touch with me a while back and talked to me about the issues they're trying to highlight. And in a typical privileged white male fashion, I was shocked at the scale of the problem that they're trying to address, and it's very naive of me. But I mean, I guess this is the point of the organisation, is to spread awareness, start conversations about these kind of things. So I've taken them on tour for the last couple of tours I've done, and had them in the room, and tried to start the conversation about all this kind of thing. And like I say, my position in life is such that the one area I have a small degree of influence or control over is the environment at my gigs, and I would like to make that safe for everybody.
If you had a message for the live music fans about these small grassroots venues, what would that be?
I think for the fans, it's just they survive because you keep going. Don't take them for granted. Every time you go to a gig, every time you go to a local gig, you support something that's really important. And there would be music if there were no small venues, but it would just be Simon Cowell and his legion of fuckwits. If you want kind of, in my opinion, if you want sort of a vibrant culture and interesting music and decent bands with roots and with depth to them and all that kind of thing, then there needs to be a place for that culture to incubate, and that's what small venues are, and without that we won't have that.
And was there a particular small venue for you as you were growing up or coming up that's important?
Yeah. I grew up in the south, and as a kid I used to go to the Railway in Winchester and the Joiners Arms in Southampton often, and I still do when I'm back home. Actually this summer the Joiners Arms roof is falling in, so I went and did a gig there it was like a fundraiser for the roof, and I think that they've now stopped it leaking, so there's something going on there. But yeah, I mean, I sort of hesitate to say this given the type of gigs that I tend to play in the UK, but I kind of much rather go to a small gig than a big one myself anyway. I'd much rather be in the Monarch or the Lexington or something like that than I would at the O2.
As an artist, is there any advice you could give to venues in particular?
I hesitate to be too trying to make out like I know what I'm talking about when it comes to venues, because I don't run a venue myself, and I think that I would always defer to the people who do. I'd rather ask them questions about what they think I can do to help them. Running a small venue is never a place where anyone's going to make themselves a millionaire, and it's always going to be hand to mouth. It's always going to be by the skin of its teeth to a degree. But I try and keep my eye and keep my hand in playing shows at smaller venues, and I try and listen to the people who run them to figure out what it is that I could do to help.